Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger! 派手に行くぜ。
まさか35番目のスーパーセンター。
一気にとどめだよ。
オッケー。
豪快ブラスト。
Wow, I had to tap 2 episodes in order to show you all that. But there's 2 reasons why I did that. The first reason is that I wanted to show you that the Gokai gun and the Gokai saber are like peas and carrots, like peanut butter and jelly, like chocolate chips and cookies. You know, you can't really have one without the other. It's unfortunate that I don't have a Gokai saber at the time that I'm reviewing this toy, but, you know, these things are pretty damn popular. And the other thing I wanted to show you is how it's so badass that the Gokaiger actually swap their weapons between each other. Yeah, they're all exactly the same weapon, but it's clear that some Gokaiger work better with dual Gokai guns, and some work better with dual Gokai saber. Or in the case of Gokai Blue, he wields 5 Gokai sabers at one time, which was kind of silly. But enough exposition, on with the toy review already, please, Ava. This is the Gokai gun, obviously inspired by a 17th century flintlock pistol. The muzzle, the bell-shaped muzzle, the non-removable ramrod, right there. You use this to help tamp down the gunpowder and bullet, the ball projectile in there. And I must say, I usually save this for the review, or for the commentary at the end of the video, but I love the level of detail on this thing. The turquoise paint on here, bleh, I can't talk, I'm sorry. First time I think they've ever done that for a generic weapon, Super Sentai weapon, and it actually works. It really, really does. And it's a very nice offset with the red, and, you know, they didn't use a ton of gold. Even though they're pirates and they're looking for gold and treasure, blah, 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 blah. This isn't gold, it's turquoise. For some reason it works. I don't know why, but it does. Anyways, the mold details, there's even a pattern across the back of the grip here, which is nice, and along the inside of the trigger as well. There's even detail, can't see it very well, but you can see there's some panel line right there on the inside, all the way across the inside there. The AAA battery compartment is right here. It takes 2. You must provide them yourself. On-off switch right there. And it's interesting to note, and I'll tell you why in a moment here, that the only difference between this side and this side is that you've got the screws located all over the place, and you've got the on-off switch over here. That's the only difference between this side and this side. And now I'll tell you why. Sound effects are thus. This, of course, being the same sound that the Mobile Rats makes when you turn it on, or whenever you're getting a phone call on the Mobile Rats. Something very fascinating I want to point out. The speaker is not located here, 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 in here. It's not located here. It's nowhere here. It's actually located where the sound is supposed to be coming from on any projectile weapon, blaster, whatever. The barrel. The speaker is located in the barrel of the gun. The muzzle, right here in the front. It comes from the muzzle. Do you know how often that happens? Not just in Super Sentai blasters, because it's never happened with a Super Sentai blaster, but role-play guns, role-play toy guns in general, the sound always comes from the side, the top, the bottom, anywhere down here. In my 28.5 years of existence on this planet, not once have I ever heard of a toy gun that had the speaker located in the muzzle. That is brilliant. I love it. That's fantastic. And in case you haven't noticed, there's actually 2 different sound effects you have there. But that's all you're going to get out of the Gokai gun when it's just by itself. And you can't interrupt it. Something else that the Gokai gun does, and honestly, I don't know why it does this. It's just kind of funny. I actually held down the trigger one time just to see what would happen, and I got this. That's kind of a strange response from a pistol that's not been fired. He's saying, it's like the narrator's impatient. Come on, let's go, Gokaiger, let's go. Come on, come on, come on. So it's kind of funny and kind of strange at the same time that your toy's actually prompting you into action. Oh well, if it wants action, I'll give it action. That was a terrible transition. Jesus. That was actually going pretty well up till then. Ugh. Some action in the form of Ranger Key number 2, Gokai Blue. You can tell it's number 2 because it says R-002 right there. That's how you know. Anyways, let's convert this guy. I'm under the impression it's supposed to be ratcheting or snapping into every few positions, but it's kind of loose on there. I guess it's just the ABS and the PVC interacting with each other. The only PVC on the whole toy, by the way. Or in this whole set. Anyways, Gokai Blue's key. And with the sound effects still turned on, push this button here. Now, obviously, flintlock pistols did not do this in the 17th century. The closest analogy I can come to, or the closest description to what this big gray thing is, which, by the way, also has some very nice detail on it. Obviously, you can't see the detailing there, even though I'm showing you. This also has some nice detail on it. But the closest description I can get to is that this light gray piece is called the cock. You ever heard of the phrase going off half-cocked? Well, it's because you're supposed to pull back the cock about halfway, you load the gunpowder and the projectile in there, and then you pull it all the way back in order to fire it once. That's how it worked in the 17th century. Anyways, going off half-cocked, as I've recently learned, very recently learned, means that you tried to fire it when the cock was only pulled back halfway. So going off half-cocked means you tried to fire it when the weapon was not set up properly. Anyways, and the Ranger key will actually snap into position, and you get this. I'll say this, the Gokai gun is surprisingly loud. I've had a few Super Sentai toys in recent memory, recent years, recent history that have been really loud. I count this among those that are really unnecessarily loud. But hey, at least the sound comes out of the front. And it'll keep making that noise as long as there is a Ranger key in position. And you just pull that. To release it, and then, so it pretty much gives you a sound effect for any action that you take, whether you're taking it out, turning it, putting it back in. Now there's something else I want to show you real quick, which I didn't realize until I saw a Gundam Legacy Extremes video. You can actually take the cock section here, and without turning the key, you can do this. Yeah. The point being, you can actually turn this to the side and then set it up just like, ooh, what happened? Oh, I didn't know that. Apparently, if you put this down slow enough, it won't give you final wave and the power-up sound. Let's see. Huh. Now you know how much I rehearse these things. And that's it for the Gokai gun. Okay, so there are two things that a lot of people are complaining about that I want to get out of the way real quick. The first one is that the Gokai gun is a little bit on the simplified side of things. This makes the second year in a row that we've had a standard sidearm Super Sentai blaster that had no special function to it beyond the upgrade or the finishing attack. Now, I have said in the past that yes, simplified weapons are nice to have once in a while. And at this point, I am not prepared to say I'm getting bored with it, let's do something a little more complex. I'm not prepared to say that yet. 2012, we'll see what happens. But right now, it's not a problem for me. I honestly don't think that it would be possible to get away with changing a flintlock pistol into a cutlass, because it would be a case of the toy would either look good in one mode and really bad in the other, or both modes would look bad and it wouldn't really matter which way it turned out. So really, creating the Gokai gun and the Gokai saber separate of each other, that's not bad. Not having the Gokai gun have a lot of moving parts on it, that's just fine with me. And the other thing that a lot of people are complaining about, surprisingly, is that the Gokai gun doesn't have any LED in it. Now, in the TV series, the Gokaiger emblems will start flashing rapidly as a final wave attack is being prepared, and that's fine and well good enough. The Gokai Saber takes care of this problem, but I'm actually surprised how many people have been complaining about it with the Gokai gun. And this also kind of draws back to the idea that the toy has a simplified design, because honestly, where could you put the light feature in it? You can't put it in the side because look how little space there is in there. That's not even an inch. That's like half to a quarter inch thick right there. There's no way you could put an LED on either side. That's probably the reason, as much as I enjoy this, that's probably the reason why they've got the speakers set up here. If they'd had a light, I'm still waiting for them to put a light inside of the blaster's barrel. Maybe 2012? But anyways, I don't have any problem with the Gokai gun not having an LED somewhere in there, because honestly, where would they have had space to put it? They wouldn't have. A flintlock pistol just, you know, because you have to be able to interact with the Ranger key But flintlock pistols, they're kind of small in profile and shape, and you can't really do much with them. So it is understandable why it is that it doesn't have an LED built into it. I've got no problem with that. In fact, there is only one thing that I actually have a problem with this toy. This is one of the best designed Super Sentai roleplay toys I've ever seen. Despite the simplicity, despite the fact it has no LED, this is a very, very well designed toy. There is only one problem I have, and really it's kind of my own problem just because of my age. It's impossible for me to hang on to this toy. My fingers are getting wedged in here. It's really uncomfortable. And I actually find myself having to adopt this rather unorthodox grip right here. You know, I can't grab onto this the way I would like to because the trigger guard actually pushes up against my knuckles and then my fingers start bumping up against each other. So in order to hold on to it properly, I adapt a grip like this, or like this, or like this. And if I want to get nasty, I can use my middle finger and pop that open. But anyways, that's the only problem I've got with this. And really, I can't understand why it is that Bandai, I don't think I can include Plex in this, because Bandai designed the toy, not the blaster itself. But anyways, you're telling me that Bandai could include another 1/2 to 3/4 inch of grip here so that an adult collector could hang on to it? I mean, it's so close, and yet it's just not the best fit. But otherwise, this is a really, really solid, decently designed toy. Now, just like they did with Mahou Sentai Magi Ranger in 2005, when Harry Potter and The Lord of the Rings and Star Wars Episode 3 were all out in theaters at roughly the same time, or was it Episode 2? Bandai, Plex, and Toei are also playing up the hype surrounding the release of the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Whether that's actually true or not, I'm not 100%, but come on, that's gotta be more than a coincidence. I mean, it has to be. I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of a single Super Sentai character that was a pirate who was good. I think Bull Black came kind of close, but he was kind of a revenge character. He didn't really have anything to do with it. But otherwise, pirates have always been the bad guys in Super Sentai. So, you know, what this reversal in thinking is as far as themes for the 35th anniversary Super Sentai series, I don't quite get that, but so far, it seems to be working pretty well. That being said, even when I was a kid collecting Legos, I have never, ever found any appeal whatsoever in glorifying pirates. Okay, adventure on the high seas, mutineers, and all those things like that. I have no interest in it. These are dangerous people. They're dangerous, unpredictable, greedy, self-centered thieves and murderers, and you know, this is a lifestyle that we're not supposed to be enjoying or glorifying or turning them into heroes. Which is kind of the reason why I don't like any of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Not that I'm trying to pimp those, of course, I'm not. I actually, honestly, didn't like any of those, and I'm not planning to watch Pirates 4. It's just, I don't care. And I also don't have any great love for weapons of the 17th, 18th, 19th century. I mean, I have no interest in this whatsoever. If this had just been a flintlock pistol, and that was it. You know, you turn the thing on, you hold the trigger down, and it does a powered-up attack or something like that, I probably would not have gotten this toy. And honestly, it is a simplified toy, but it's a flintlock. I've got no interest in that whatsoever. I'd rather have semi-auto, fully automatic weapons, you know? I'm a guy who's been born and raised in the late 20th, early 21st century, where I don't have to worry about tearing open those little paper baggy thingies that have gunpowder and a little ball. You stick it in there, you use the ramrod, stick it in there, and it takes you 1.5 minutes to reload a single shot, and just, drives me nuts. Bumping the camera also drives me nuts. So, this, from many different angles, this should not work. You know, this should not be appealing to me in any way whatsoever. And yet, I really, really like this thing. I really do. I think a lot of it has to do with the visual style of things, the details on here. And the other big thing that I like, that I think makes or breaks the toy for me, is how it interacts with the Ranger keys. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, if this hadn't had the Ranger key feature, if it couldn't interact with Ranger keys, if it had just been a solid flintlock, Super Sentai flintlock pistol, if it had just been that, chances are I would not have gotten it. But I think a key component is interacting with the Ranger keys. I really do. So the two big draws for me are that, it's visually striking, and that the electronic systems, primarily the Ranger keys, work so well with each other that, it's hard not to like it. And by the way, before I forget, the Gokai gun cannot uniquely identify Ranger keys. It doesn't matter which kind of Ranger key you put in there, it's not going to uniquely identify. So you stick in a Go Ranger key, it's going to do the same thing as if you put a Hurricane Ranger key or a Jew Ranger key in, okay? It makes no difference. This isn't like the Mobi Rats where it uniquely identifies each key. They're all treated exactly the same. And you know what? That's okay. I've got no problem with that. It probably would have raised the cost a couple more dollars, and I don't think I would have put that much money into it. But one last time, very solid, very clean, very well designed and executed. And I strongly recommend getting the Gokai gun. It is very much worth it. Now it focuses on it after I've done the rant? I'm doing reshoots and now it focuses? Jesus. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, yes, I am still trying to look for a Gokai Saber, but unfortunately the damn things just aren't in stock. Wow, these things are awesome. This is AV Unit 4A for CollectionDX.com, signing off.
目指せ地図にない場所を幻なんかじゃないんだたった一つ自分だけの宝物誰も探してる確かめたいぜみんな同じじゃないからやりたいことをやってやれ命がけだぜ欲しけりゃその手で掴め Let's go let's go カイジャー Go go let's舵を取れ君の前に広がる海道なき道を行こう Let's go let's go カイジャー Go go let's go let's 嵐の中頑張る君のがむしゃらが今この世界を変えるぜでっかい夢は無限大海賊戦隊ゴーカイジャー光を上げたなら自由の拳突き上げろガンガン魂不滅の火が君を呼んで